Hello world and Merry Christmas. Christmas Day we're doing a video because nothing's open.
Nothing else to do.
So why not watch 80s music twin rights? Keep forgetting what our video is.
We could have. I was thinking around this time we could do like top 10 Christmas songs, but yeah. No.
I heard that on the radio and two people actually, they did their own separate list and both of them had Mariah Carey at number one. I was like, whatever. Let's appeal to the fans because it's the only time you ever hear her anymore.
Well, yeah,
it's Christmas.
Well, because the classic radio stations play 80s, she's 90s, so they don't really have. Yeah.
So we have three friends joining us today: the snowman, Santa, and
reindeer.
Today's artist is Tom Petty.
We got an elf over there too.
Yes. Where's your elf?
Right there.
Oh, okay. And the Santa over here. So today's artist is Tom Petty, and also known as Charlie Wilbury.
Oh, from the Traveling Wilburys.
Yes, that's his name. They actually put his name.
Actually put names.
They all have different names, and then in parentheses is their real name.
Yeah, one of them is like he might be the junior because there's a father, the fictional father.
Okay.
And they're all the brothers, and one's junior. I think it's Tom Petty's character.
I like how they did that. Now we're not going to get to them until chart 2.
Right. Yeah.
So that because that came later, at the end of the 80s. But this will be like in the last 4 weeks. This will be our second Southern artist. Similar
John Cougar.
Similar careers too. I mean, both of them spanned well over 2 decades.
Right.
And just as many hits. Tom Petty never had a number 1 hit though. His biggest hit probably would be Free Fall.
Oh, Free Fall. Yeah.
It made it all the way up to number 7.
That's how the songs I hear all the time. That one, I Won't Back Down, and Don't Come Around Here No More.
Yep.
So I hear a few of the older ones too, like Don't Do Me Like That.
I hear Refugee.
I hear those in the...
Matter of fact, interesting story. So, I don't know, does anybody out there believe in coincidences? Because I would call this a coincidence. Nothing more is I'm at work and I had to go to the post office, and on the way back to work, I passed this place it's called the Refugee Church, but when I saw it, I thought of Refugee. And Refugee came on the radio. Like, what are the odds?
Yeah.
Stuff like that happens.
There is a coincidence in his life. He did an interview a couple days before he passed away. Passed away in 2017.
Right.
Of a drug overdose.
Yes.
And he said a couple days before in an interview to, I want to say the New Yorker or something like that, that he said, well, if anybody in our band dies, maybe like of a drug overdose or something like that, he goes, we'll probably disband, break up as a band. And then he died a couple of days later.
And you can't replace him because you're calling it Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers.
Yeah.
And suddenly, when you bring somebody, it's Sammy Hagar and the Heartbreakers.
Well, I think he said if anybody in the band. So I guess they just at that point.
Well, what's interesting, I don't know how he died, but in 2003, Howie Epstein died.
Right.
That was his bass player.
Yeah.
Now, he wasn't on a lot of, between Long After Dark in 1982 to 1994 when he had Into the Great Wide Open, I think it was. 4 albums. Only 4 albums.
No, he only had 3 where it was him. Not 4.
Howie Epstein?
I'm sorry. Tom Petty had solo career.
Right. Yeah, and Howie Epstein might have been on one of his solos, but Howie Epstein was the band we know was only legitimately on 4 of his albums.
Okay, I gotcha.
But those are probably the most well-known, the most hits.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. All right, so he started way back in 1976.
Right.
And not a successful career, not a successful start, except for in his location wherever they played. I can't remember. I think they were from Texas, but I could be wrong. I know he's supposed to be South Texas. You don't think of the South, but it is South, so it's southern part of United States.
He's got a recognizable voice, that's for sure.
Definitely.
When he comes out.
And it's funny when you compare, we just said John Cougar Mellencamp. He doesn't sound anything like John Cougar Mellencamp.
He's got, when he talks, he's got what I call a drawl.
Right.
So,
yeah, both of them are from the South. Now, you had John Cougar Mellencamp albums. Right. I didn't. Did you have any Tom Petty albums?
No, I didn't have any Tom Petty.
I did. So I actually I looked at my list of all the 100 artists that we did. I ranked Tom Petty ahead of John Cougar.
Yeah.
So I had Long After Dark.
Yeah. So his first four Southern Access was number 5.
Number 5, I believe. So.
His first 4 albums.
No, it's number 6.
Okay, his
Yes.
first 5 albums. It's Tom Petty on the cover, not the band, just him. Usually with his guitar. And it's got all the titles. And I'm like, it has nothing. Long After Dark. It's just him.
Huey Lewis. I don't know what Huey Lewis's first one was, but if you look at picture this, it's just him.
Yeah, on the steps of some place outside.
Right, so.
Yeah.
Even
Southern Accents
and the news and
Southern
and
Accents is the first one where he's not on the cover. So
right, so it's the Heartbreakers, and the Heartbreakers didn't start with the band we know. Maybe 2 of the guys we know were in the original band, and 2 of them got booted, and then the new 2 came, and similarly, Lad Foreigner, a lot of movement in all these bands in the '80s. But they had 2 hits. But they weren't really hits on that first album. Breakdown came for the first
I like
album.
Breakdown. Very short song. It's only 2.5 minutes long.
And it's very unusual. Not very many in '70s. That's the type of music you would hear. Slow like that.
Yeah. There's another song called Breakdown that was on the radio as a single. Not at that time. From Alan Parsons Project. They have one called Breakdown.
Really? Was it popular?
If I played it for you, you'd probably recognize it.
Okay, all right. Second album is when they did better. They had 2 more hits, and for the life of me, I can't remember what those 2 were. I have to look at
It's like probably Here Comes the Girl.
I need
My Girl.
Listen to Her Heart, and I Need to Know. I Need to Know is pretty good.
Yeah.
And they re-released Breakdown after they made it on the radio. They re-released Breakdown. Then came the third one. Third one, I believe, is with the Heartbreakers. It's their best-selling album.
That's the one that has American Girl on it, probably?
No. Damn the Torpedoes.
Okay.
It had, the 1-2 that everybody knows. Refugee,
Wait.
Don't Do Me Like That. A lot of keyboard bass. You would think it's guitar bass, but, they are in the middle, but some of them start with keyboards. Like, Don't Do Me Like That, that's a keyboard bass song. And then it also had Even the Losers and Here Comes My Girl, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, so 4 songs, but only 2 that are really well known. The other 2 they're there. You know it when you hear it, but it's like not a breakthrough. And then Hard Promises comes after that. I don't know, The Waiting and The Woman in, what is it, The Woman in Me? That doesn't sound right.
No.
A Woman in Love. Woman in Me.
Woman in Me is the song
that's
they're
Shania
writing.
Twain.
No, I was saying that's a song they'd be writing. A guy would be writing now.
It's a Shania Twain song. She's also Southern, so no, she's Canadian.
Not as insane.
She's Canadian singing country western. So
Mostly in the 90s, though. 2000s.
Now, The Waiting. I don't remember ever hearing The Waiting on the radio. What's your first remembrance of a song? Probably Refugee, Don't Do Me Like That, maybe?
I don't know, because I heard it. First time I remember them is MTV,
because
they
Got Lucky.
You Got Lucky, which is like a post-apocalyptic kind of thing, and
because there's a year after Mad Max came out.
Really,
the Road Warrior.
all it is really is post-apocalyptic. Let's go see a museum. That's all it is.
Yeah. And they didn't all come together. The band didn't come together. They're in a hover car that looks like a white pill.
Yeah.
And then the others are on a motorcycle with a sidecar. Yeah. And so they're just looking at all this stuff like a time capsule.
Yeah, I like that because when they're looking at things, how does he know? Because the one guy in the band, he's like, cranks it all apart. Cause I'm like, how did he know that was going to do that? That's probably the first time that
you don't think electricity existed?
I don't know.
And if that's what I wonder. They're out in the middle of nowhere, and there's a tent that can produce electricity. Why?
Or he tripped before they went in. He tripped and he looks back and he digs out.
Oh yeah, the
cassette player
box. Which
and when he pressed play, then his song comes in. I'm like, is that what it was in there? It's cassette. or I don't know. But also,
we all know that wouldn't happen today. You
Yeah.
don't get a cassette player.
that's what they were thinking if,
Right.
if a post-apocalypse happened at that time, because they weren't thinking of
If I pull out one of my cassettes that's in my garage,
it wouldn't
and
play.
put it in a cassette player, tried to press play, and be like those cassettes that unwind
Yeah.
while you're playing them.
Yeah.
So, anyways, that memorable video. Would you say that is the more memorable music video, or Don't Come Around Here No More? 'Cause that was pretty memorable.
Memorable in different ways. So yes, I think this is more memorable. This is memorable for their early before Southern hit, Southern Access.
Yeah, and
Once Southern Access, his music changed.
it did change big time. Talk about the '80s and all these variety of instruments they're playing.
Yeah. So keep staying on You Got Lucky. How do you know?
Gotcha.
Okay, so the post-apocalypse, was he already a guitarist? Because he gonna. So it looks like the first time he ever seen a guitar.
Right.
I know how to play it already.
Everyone pick up an instrument and say, "I'm a genius." Right. They're looking at him like, "How are you doing that?"
And I want to know the thing Tom Petty pushed over. I thought he was gonna put a coin in and start.
I
playing.
know.
He pushes it over.
Like, better if you did that.
Hopefully it was already out of order.
Yeah. And if that's a one of those classic games, that was a dumb thing to do. You could get a lot of money.
Yeah, I did.
Although eBay,
And-
eBay didn't exist back then. So
Okay, so now You Got Lucky. I always like when that song comes on because I like the line in the verse or the chorus where he goes, "You got lucky, babe." Says, "I found you." I'm like, wow, what an ego.
tell me that is that a message song? One of the worst messages for a song ever.
Like, he's like, "You're lucky I found you." Not you found me. I found you.
I just want you to know, you can't do better than me.
He does say, "Hey, if you can do better, go."
Yeah, that's the whole song. Get out of here. Oh my goodness. Yeah, so that's what you call an abusive relationship.
Yeah, but I like the song. I really like
Yeah, that's a good song. I know you had it number 3 on your list. I do. I like that song too. That's why I bought
It
that
starts with
album.
drums. It starts with drums. Doo doo.
It's like
and he's
hi-hat.
counting 1, 2.
Yeah. So, and they were watching in that tent. They were watching videos. A couple of them had themselves on it. Do they not?
Oh yeah.
Hey, that's us.
Yeah, they're on stage. I'm like,
Anyways, but so after that,
he wasn't in a movie. He was in The Postman. That's post-apocalyptic. Maybe You Got Lucky is within that movie of The Postman.
is that? So you think Kevin Costner saw that video? Says that's why we need to get Tom Petty.
Maybe, I don't know. And he actually plays himself. He doesn't say it, but Kevin Costner's character, The Postman, goes, "You're famous, I know you. Aren't you famous?" And Tom Petty's character's like, "I used to be."
Yeah.
So I think he plays himself.
And what year was that movie?
Oh, I don't know.
I think it was early '90s.
Yeah.
I think
90s. I think it's late 90s.
late '90s.
I
Okay.
don't know.
So by that time, he didn't have any more.
It was
hits.
when it was around the time, like Mel Gibson doing Braveheart, Patriot. It was around those times. Kevin Costner. Oh, was Kevin Costner the director in that one?
He directed that one too. That's
Because he
why I
did
said-
Dances with Wolves. I think it was before that.
Okay, and Dances with Wolves was 1990, so it might be early 2000s. I can't
Yeah,
remember.
it might be late
It's
1990s.
one of the, and I think it was a bomb, just like Waterworld was.
Yeah, I really like Waterworld. We're not talking about Tom Petty anymore. Waterworld, I love the intro where it does the Universal comes around
Yeah.
and then that goes away and the Earth
Turns into water.
all water.
Right.
Yeah,
That's also post-apocalyptic.
Just in a
just
different-
not the desert anymore.
Yeah,
It's
different
the
way.
opposite of
Yeah.
the desert. All water. Okay, so these first 5 albums, kind of relatively similar music-wise,
Yeah,
you said, and 2-year gap before they put out Southern Access. So now you got 1985. Always say that.
always the best
year.
1984 comes in a close second.
And and he'd already been on MTV, but apparently music videos were definitely changing because he like way altered the type of music videos he was putting out, and using Alice in Wonderland for that one.
Well, the video was produced by Dave Stewart of Eurythmics, who plays the guitar.
He plays the sitar.
The sitar at the beginning.
Yeah, he's the caterpillar.
And he plays a caterpillar in the beginning of the video. The woman who plays Alice, she is not the same woman that's in the next video, which we like too.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Make It Better is not.
But that's not.
It's two different women.
That's not considered Alice, because at the end of that video,
she gets eaten by a cake. Yeah, she screams. Oh! And then he's eating the last bite. I'm like,
yeah.
That's a dark video.
Kids everywhere are traumatized. Watching somebody get eaten. She's on the table and they're cutting.
Yeah, and she's not screaming. I'm like, why are you not screaming? You're seeing them take a piece of cake and
yeah, that reminds me.
But we were what about 13? Was 85? You said
85,
15.
15, yeah.
So okay, yeah. I guess if we were younger, we might have been traumatized. We liked that video. We all every time it came on.
You're looking at Freddy Krueger was out by that time.
Yeah, well, we wanted to watch that video every time it came on. So
yeah. So it was an unusual video. I don't know if anybody else besides Dave Stewart was famously in that.
Yeah.
But so that good video. Slow song. It's an unusual song.
It was unusual for him. It was nothing that he's ever done before.
I would say most of his career, most of his songs were slower rather than faster. He does have a lot of good fast songs.
Right.
Most of those didn't make the charts.
Make It Better. I like that video. He's got the girl. All she's doing is making faces. She's looking at the camera. Cut to her every now and then. You know,
so I should say, is that more memorable than the Alice in Wonderland? Because he goes, giant ear that he enters. Here comes, she's sticking a giant.
That was at the end, just for him.
She's shaking her head, and they're wobbling back and forth inside while they play. But that musically, that is an awesome song.
Oh yeah, it's probably our number one.
I mean, why that song did not do? It wasn't even in the top 40. It was like 54.
Yeah.
Some of his really good songs did not chart, so which shows you, people that were on that committee for the billboards, hey, off the street, come here and rank these.
Yeah,
I don't know anything about music.
Tom Petty plays guitar himself.
He does,
which we've seen in videos. But you notice obviously he plays the Mad Hatter in Come Around Here No More. He's almost like. Did he write that as an old man going, "Get off my lawn"?
It's funny. So
whatever you're looking for, don't come around.
Eventually, the Mad Hatter is played by Johnny Depp in an Alice in Wonderland movie, right? And Johnny Depp appears in a Tom Petty video. Which were Into the Great Wide Open. That's what it is. He's talking about the loser making music.
Yeah.
So him and Faye Dunaway were in it. If you know, people are like, who's Faye Dunaway? Well, from the 70s, you gotta watch the movie.
Was she Bonnie and Clyde?
Yes, she was Bonnie. She would have been Bonnie. Yes, she was in Chinatown,
really good movie.
Yeah. So. Towering Inferno. I think she was in that.
Yeah, that's memorable.
All about Tom Petty.
But during Southern Access, the making of it, Tom Petty punched a wall and broke his left hand. Yeah. So I was like in the video.
Why did he punch a wall?
I don't know. He probably got mad, obviously. It took a while. It probably took too long to make the album.
See?
But
like I said, abusive relationships.
But that's why I said he didn't play guitar in the video of Make It Better, and he was standing at the microphone. Yeah. So maybe that's why he didn't play, because his hand was broke. Okay. I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And then the other song was Rebels, and
I like Rebels.
I don't think he had a interesting. Yeah. Was it in concert video? I can't remember if it had a video even. I do know
that it was on the.
So Southern Accents, even though it wasn't their biggest selling CD, that was probably on tour, his best tour, and because of that, they put out a live album and actually had a hit on it.
Plantation.
Pack Up the Plantation.
Pack Up the Plantation.
And So You Want to Be a Rock and Roll Star was released on that album.
Right.
It wasn't on any particular album before that, and I like that song too.
Yeah.
Wearing a flag around him.
We always mention her sister had an album. She had that one, and she always played it.
She did have Southern accents.
We always hear a song called Spike, which is a dog. I was talking about a dog. I was talking about a collar, and at the end he's like, oof, like he's barking. So I'm thinking maybe. No one else I've heard it.
Yeah, and then that other song.
The other song that I really like,
It Ain't Nothing to Me.
Yes, and they sound like they're having a lot of fun on that song. Just the piano players like do 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 slamming the keys.
Yeah, so that would be your favorite?
Yes, that's my favorite album. Close second, Full Moon Fever.
Full Moon, and I had Full Moon Fever as
Change of music. I don't like the style as much
because it's not the Heartbreakers.
Southern X is something like Enigma. It's just a different sounding. He never sounded like that again. He didn't sound like that before in the previous albums. Didn't sound like after.
Yeah. So I had Full Moon Fever on record for him again, and but we're skipping one because before Full Moon Fever, he did in between Southern Accents and that they had Let Me Up, I've Had Enough.
Oh yeah, all 5 of their faces are on the album.
Yeah,
the band members.
And those colors I think are the same colors on Full Moon Fever, and vertically instead of horizontal.
Okay.
It's kind of weird, but one hit. Jam and Me. I think they put out 4 songs and the other 3.
Yeah, co-written by Bob Dylan.
Bob Dylan, yeah.
Which obviously he was friends with because they became
The Traveling Wilburys. And it's funny that when you look at the Traveling Wilburys, Bob Dylan and Jeff Lynne from ELO are the only 2 still alive. 3 of them are gone. So they couldn't do another
Bob
one.
Dylan said he was on all the other members. They're like, you're Bob Dylan. We're all in all. But they said, we're going to treat you like anybody else. And Bob Dylan's like, I am in awe of you guys. But yeah, I like, wouldn't they all be in awe of George Harrison? He was in the Beatles.
I know, really.
George Harrison was pretty much the leader of that.
Yeah, and when you look at them, I think just putting all their individual musics out, separate from the Wilburys. Bob Dylan's would be the least favorite of mine. I'd listen to the Beatles over Bob Dylan, right?
Okay.
So, Let Me Up, I've Had Enough. Okay. One hit, 4 songs I think were released, and the other 3 didn't do anything.
Pretty good song though. I liked it.
When
I remember when it came out, I'm like, ooh, this is different.
Yes. Yeah, and the most memorable line of the song is probably when he mentions people, right?
Right, and and there's a guy he talks about that we've talked about in Michael Jackson.
We've already talked about Joe Piscopo.
And well, this will probably be the last time we talk about him. Like, who's that?
Yeah.
He's on SNL.
And he mentions Joe
Eddie
Piscopo,
Murphy after.
Eddie Murphy, and Vanessa Redgrave.
And everybody's like, who's Vanessa Redgrave?
And she has nothing to do with Saturday Night Live. Why is she in that line?
I don't know.
But then he's like, take back. Who's he talking to when he says
Vanessa Redgrave? If anybody watching this would know who that is, the only thing she was in that anybody would know,
Mission
Impossible. Yeah.
She's the old lady at the middle of Mission Impossible.
I mean, she was in movies before then, but I don't think American audiences.
And I think she using the name Max.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So that'd be her. But this was before that.
But she has a sister, Lynn Redgrave.
Right.
And Lynn Redgrave was in a show that we watched, a sitcom, and I don't remember what it was called.
Odd.
No. She was. I don't know.
I don't know what much with her in it. Okay, so but he's throughout the whole song he's like, take back. Who's he? Why?
He's telling like people gave it to him. I don't want her. You take it back.
So we give Joe Piscopo.
Whoever he wants. Whoever's jamming me. To take him back.
That's one.
You're jamming me. Take it back. Take it back. Joe Piscopo, Eddie Murphy, Vanessa Redgrave. He said, give them all some place to go.
So he's trying to start a new catchphrase or something with people that didn't catch on. Because it wasn't a very good album.
Yeah.
Other than that song, believe it or not, I've listened to that whole album. That song probably is the only one that deserves to be released.
I put that song in the same. I rate that with the next one that he came out right after. I think that was from his solo career, Running Down a Dream. I kind of put those 2 songs.
Now, Running Down a Dream, that, when it comes to videos, he didn't even need to be in the video because it was all animated, black and white, I think.
Yeah. But I like that song. We hear it on the radio.
Yes.
I don't know if he's the one playing it. He could.
Right. Yeah, so that one's pretty good. And then there were supposedly 6 songs released from that. One of them was only on the hard rock Billboard chart. It never ranked on the regular one. So that's why it's Love is a Long Road. I ranked pretty high. I had the album. So again, it's like when you had the album.
His last song that I saw that I recognized was You Wreck Me.
Yeah.
That was the last hit that I recognized. Okay. And that was from Petty the Heartbreakers. I think there was another one from solo.
Right.
I don't know which one it was.
When we get top 10, I'll let
Yeah.
you know because I list the albums next to it. So he had 3 solo albums.
His first one was the only good one.
Yeah. So Full Moon Fever, Wildfires, or Flowers. Wildflowers.
Wildflowers.
It was Wildflowers.
Wildflowers. Wildflowers was the group that was led by Bob Dylan's son.
Okay. He does have a song called
That-
Walls
Oh, yeah.
off the soundtrack.
But
album.
Wallflowers has One Headlight.
Okay, gotcha.
You know that song?
Yes,
It's
I
a pretty
do.
good song.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Some of the, and again, if you played that song, I'm like, I recognize it. Couldn't tell you who the band was. It's very good in the '90s. Even those songs started to sound the same.
This is the only time we're going to talk about Bob Dylan, probably. He's an '80s artist. His songs go off the radar for us, anyways. 'Cause
Yeah.
I never hear him on the radio. I don't know if you had where do you hear Bob Dylan on the radio? Is there a certain channel? AM. Oh, and speaking of AM, Tom Petty was in FM, which we talked about.
I saw that, yeah. When I was looking for REO Speedwagon in that movie, I found a clip and it had Tom Petty in the office getting an interview or something.
So Tom Petty with movies, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers did the soundtrack to a movie called She's the One with Jennifer Aniston and who's the other person?
I don't know.
There was another woman.
It wasn't Bette Midler, was it? Okay.
I think Cameron Diaz. Might have been Cameron
Could've
Diaz. So they did the soundtrack. I didn't see any hits that I knew of.
Well, like I said, Walls supposedly was a hit.
Walls was on that soundtrack.
I think it
yes.
was,
So,
yes. And Lindsey Buckingham, I think, is also on that.
and Tom Petty was in most movies, not the band, but he was in a movie called Made for Each Other.
Made in
Made in Heaven. Made in Heaven. Timothy Hutton.
That's from early '80s too.
And he played Stanky. And in the video clip I saw, Timothy Hutton goes up to him and says, "Listen here, Stinky." And Tom Petty's like, "That's Stanky." Does it really matter?
Yeah. Does it? And why are you playing? You see the guy's name Stanky. Why are you playing that character?
You would think he's famous enough. He's like, you change his name. Aerosmith did that with, there's a movie called Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. It's based on
The Bee Gees are it's
the Bee Gees and Peter Frampton.
Okay, but
Based on a Beatles song.
Based on a Beatles song, right?
Okay, and so at one point in the movie, they face Aerosmith, and they're kind of fighting with them, and Aerosmith's like, "No, if we're in it, they're not beating us."
Oh, really?
Yeah, they would like, yeah. So I don't know, they had some clout.
So did they win?
I think it was maybe a draw or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, so yeah.
That's funny.
See now, like, no, we're Aerosmith. You
But
can't-
yeah, I'm telling you, I don't know. If you're in the '70s, yes, they are being beat because Bee Gees had way more clout in the '70s.
yeah, but they were
than
playing
Aerosmith.
themselves. They were playing.
I understand that, but yeah. Ego versus ego, I guess. I don't know. All right, so
So that was the only way they could get him in the movie. Otherwise, Aerosmith's like, "Well, I'm not going to be in your movie." So,
So interesting. So what else you were talking about? Movies?
TV shows. He has animated characters in King of the Hill,
right.
and
Which he sang a song, King of the Hill, with a country western singer. I don't remember the guy's name. 13 years earlier, before he was actually in the animated, he called his name there is Lucky. So he always has that. It's always the
and
nickname.
the episode I watched was he had a hurt back. Not really lucky.
and of course, King of Hill is based on all these guys that have a southern drawl, so he definitely fits there. Yeah,
I almost want to say hillbillies or rednecks, but
yeah.
there's guys that drink beer for sure.
And
Weird Al. He
okay.
had an interview with him. He did an interview back then.
right.
I mean, fake interview, obviously. And
But did he do a parody?
yes, Stop Dragging My Car.
Oh, that's right. Which was Stop Dragging My Cat Around, right?
No,
car?
The song is Stop Dragging My Heart Around, and Weird Al's is called Stop Dragging My Car Around. He had a crappy car and is being towed all over the place.
I don't know why.
And Weird Al's like, "Stop dragging my car around."
Okay.
So he's looking for his car
I swear it was
because he got
Cat.
towed away.
I swear it was Cat before that. But that's on one of his really early things, so it wasn't a good song.
Yeah.
But
It might have
Weird Al
been,
number 1 or 2, one of those two.
yeah, it's probably his second album
So
because the
before-
first album was not I listen to those songs. I'm like, holy
No,
crap!
it's
they're horrible.
before he got really good. Yeah, so it might have even been on when
Yeah, probably was in
with
in
the
3D?
Ricky song or
Is
My
in 3D
Bologna.
the second one album?
I don't think it was that quick. I don't know. I'd have to look.
Yeah, okay, we're second song.
All right.
Second album.
So in the great, what's funny is in the great, they put a greatest hits out in 1993. Jammin' Me wasn't in it. I don't know why that. Did they think that album stunk so bad we're not even including the hit? I don't understand that. As good of a song it is. And then from there on out, most of his hits were slow songs like Into the Great Wide Open.
That's because he broke his hand.
So he never,
he can't do
it
fast.
never
He can't
healed.
do fast.
So that means Running Down a Dream probably wasn't him.
Oh yeah.
So you got that one. You got Mary Jane's Last Dance. You Don't Know How It Feels. All those songs are really
You're
slow.
so bad.
Yeah, well, that one-
that's sort of fast.
Yeah. So
I don't know.
other than You Wrecked Me and Out of the Cold, which I like and you didn't put
Yeah.
on your top 10. So
Out in the cold, still slow. Out in the cold. It's
no,
like
it
it's,
wasn't. It was
so-
faster. It's I'm out in the cold.
Oh, what am I thinking of? I must
I
be
don't know.
thinking.
Maybe that's why you didn't rank it so high.
No, I must be thinking of another song. I'm just putting those words in.
So, so the only thing after the 2000s, the only thing worth mentioning is in 2008, he was the
Entertainment for the
halftime show. And,
Super Bowl.
and I remember that when so they're already on the stage, and the crowd's around, and they open these gates to let people rush the stage, and you can tell because it's 2008. Nobody from that time period was a fan of Tom Petty. So it was all these old fat people that rushed the stage. It's
Everybody else is like,
wow, look at that crowd.
everybody else is like, who is that?
Yeah. So you got, when Bruno Mars is there, you get all the young people and the rap enthusiasts, surround the stage. Tom Petty's fans are like these southern rednecks, fat, old.
The way most artists are from way back in the 80s, you see their crowds.
And those people didn't mind that he didn't have any spectacular light show. Just play your songs.
Yeah.
You played 4 songs, and I think that was it.
Yeah. The last thing I want to say before we get to our top 10 is I always think of Tom Petty's line in Free Fallin', I think it is?
Okay.
Where he says, I'm going to leave this world for a while. I just think about that and his death.
Well, it's not for a while. It's forever. So anyways, all right. So let's get to our top 10.
Top 10!
Dexter, let's see what I missed. All right, on to our top 10. Before we get to the top 10, I
right.
did want to mention, and I tried to mention it earlier and I got cut off. So
It's my fault?
yes. So we were talking about the waiting.
Right.
Okay, the one thing I remember about that is because we used to watch the Gary Shandling show. It's Gary Shandling's show.
Okay.
And he was Gary Shandling's neighbor on that show. And then his other neighbor was pregnant, and they were waiting for the kid to be born. And as she's getting ready to get birth, he comes out and sings The Waiting. Yeah, The Waiting's the hardest.
Yeah.
When she was pregnant. So.
Yeah, Gary Shandling show. It's Gary Shandling show. You have to buy it. You can't find it anywhere.
Right. And Gary Shandling died 1 year before Tom Petty did.
Yeah. He had a show called Larry Sanders also.
Yeah.
And that was a cable show.
That was like an imitation.
Tom Petty was also on his last show.
It was an imitation of what, Dave Letterman or something like that?
Something like that. It was a talk show, yeah. But Tom Petty was on the very last show.
Oh, the last show. Okay.
The very last show.
All right.
It was like Larry Sanders' farewell. And he was in the backstage, and so were 2 other artists. He's like, I thought I was going to be the only one to perform. It was like, is it Clint Black, I think, was one of the artists, and somebody else. I can't remember who the other one was. They were arguing.
That show is all about the guests arguing.
Yeah.
All right. And Larry Sanders apparently had a big ego or something like that. So. All right, so to the honorable mention first. I lost 3 of my 10.
Jeez.
You lost 2. So it's like John Cougar because it spans 2 decades. There's
Yeah, a lot of songs.
So you have to pick and choose, and things get booted because of that. All right, so I mentioned Out in the Cold being a fast song that I like on that one album. I forget which I think it might have been Into the Great Wide Open, one of the lesser known songs. Love is a Long Road. I had that album, so that was one of my favorite. I like the beginning where it goes. It's simple, but I like that part. And then So You Want to Be a Rock and Roll Star, that one from the live album. Those are my 3 that did make it. Your 2 that didn't make it. You won't like.
There is a song that would have made it.
Okay.
If the entire song was like this part, American Girl, the ending, do 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 do.
Yeah, right.
If the whole song was like that, I probably would have liked it better.
That's true. Why they? Yeah. I think that American Girl might be the first song they sang at the Super Bowl when the people were rushing the stage.
Yeah.
Okay. So that your 2 didn't make it. Breakdown, which even though it's a memorable song because it's so different, really his first hit, but slower and
I saw a video where he was in concert playing it, and they were acting like he was having a breakdown, and they put a coat on him like kind of like
James Brown,
like a James Brown kind of thing, and he was like they were gonna take him away. He's having a breakdown.
Did he do like James Brown does?
Oh, probably. I
can't
can't remember. He might have.
I like that. Weird Al does that too, in a parody of James Brown. Okay, so your 2 Breakdown, and You Got Lucky. Now You Got Lucky I have at number 3, so I'm surprised it didn't make it because I would have.
Why didn't you like it?
I must have.
You forgot about the video.
I did forget about the video, but there's a lot of others that I like. And just so you know, we're also ranking Traveling Wilbury songs. So
yeah, those are in here.
maybe without the Traveling Wilbury songs, it would have made it. But there you go. And I even have the album. I bought Long After Dark because of that song. But then again, seeing that I bought that song, that was his 5th CD. So we were buying. You only had 5 to choose from when you go to the store. So what should
Well, I mean, when you had that album, Southern Accents was probably out at the time.
Oh, maybe you might be right. Yeah,
But that was you only had those albums.
That's
so
true.
It was not as big
And
of a.
we, with as old as we were, we didn't have a lot of money, so we were probably looking through the cheap bins, and that was in there. Okay, so that's your 2. All right, get into the top 10. Number 10 doesn't even come from a Tom Petty album. And that would be, you know which one doesn't come from Tom Petty?
Traveling Wilburys.
No.
Oh, don't say Walls. I'm trying to think of.
Comes from Belladonna, which is a Stevie Nicks album.
Oh, so
it would be Stop Dragging My Heart Around, which would be number 2.
Yeah, they gave it to. Fun fact, and I could have waited for this for a couple weeks, but Tom Petty could have had this song, but didn't. I don't know if it was Southern Accents.
Okay.
Boys of Summer.
Oh, from Don Henley.
Written by Mike Campbell.
Yes.
And Mike Campbell wrote it. I'm surprised there. I thought that Don Henley wrote it.
Well, you hear stuff like that all the time. I think I remember.
But it would have just sounded different.
Yes. Hall & Oates, I think, Out of Touch was almost given to somebody else.
Right.
And then it was their number 1 hit. So the flip, Stevie Nicks was given a chance to have Don't Come Around Here No More. But Tom Petty had sang it and Stevie Nicks gave it to him. And now that song, I don't know that she would have sang did it justice. Because the song was about her.
Yeah, a lot of artists that gives like I don't know. You said we might not be getting Bruce Hornsby.
He wasn't on the list, but
he wrote Jacob's Ladder, which Huey Lewis sang.
Yes, and he sang it too. But yeah, obviously Huey Lewis.
Pat Benatar sang "I Need a Lover."
Right. But anyway, so Dave Stewart was at a party with Stevie Nicks and a bunch of other people, and they were obviously doing drugs. And he ended up sleeping in a bed, and he could hear Joe Walsh and Stevie Nicks fighting because they were dating, and then they broke up, right? And then she booted Joe Walsh out and said, "Don't come around here no more." And that's why he wrote the song. And she could have had it, but then she said, "Give it to Tom Petty because he sounded pretty good singing it." So there's the flip of this song. Now, technically, they both sing on this song, so it's not like he gave it to her. He's also on it, right? But it came from her album, right? And so both of us have this at number 10.
But he sings one verse, right?
Yeah, she sings most of the verses, right?
Okay, so but each one sounds like the other could be dragging the heart around. Like, which one of you is dragging the heart around? You or you?
Yeah, and that would be they've had 3 songs together. There was a song on Damn the Torpedoes they both sang, but it wasn't released as a single. Then this one,
yeah.
and then eventually they came out with Needles and Pins, which was not a humdrum song, right? Not good enough to rank. All right, that was number 10. Number 9 comes from Southern Accents, and that would be Rebels. And what I like about this song, you talk about solos in the middle. You know what the instrument that has the solo in the middle? It's a trumpet. Rebels.
Oh yeah.
It's a trumpet solo. Name one other song that uses a trumpet for the solo.
Sure there are.
None.
If you do that, Tower Power, they had trumpets.
Yeah.
They probably had some stuff.
Right, but if you're including a whole orchestra, that's one thing. Like Don Henley has all she wants to do is dance. He has a wide variety of horns.
I would say Chicago's Along Comes a Woman. That's pretty much trumpets.
Oh, yeah, you know what?
It's a whole bunch of trumpets.
That'd be the group. Okay, you pick. Yeah. Okay, so I have this at 14, and you have it at 4. That's why I made. I actually had this higher, and then you gave me Traveling Wilburys, and that booted it up. A lot of songs that happened.
Yeah.
Okay, next song up from Damn the Torpedoes is Refugee, number 8, and I have this at number 6. You have it at number 11, right outside.
There's that line in that one that I like, but I only like it the second time they repeat it because he changes it a little bit. He says, maybe you were tied up, taken away, and held for ransom.
Yeah.
He doesn't say it the first time.
What? And what's the definition of a refugee? Think of a refugee, somebody fleeing something, right? You're like in a situation you don't like, you had to flee, and then you got to go find those cities of refuge. So, I don't know. Sounds like a relationship thing.
Yeah,
it's all about abusive relationships.
I wouldn't call that a refugee. If you were a hostage, you escaped. She's a refugee now.
You don't have to live like one. Okay. Next song, number 7, comes from Wildflowers. Wildflowers. So it was
No, I have one.
his second solo album, Wildflowers. So this is You Wreck Me. I think it's probably the only song from that album. We both of us have it number 8 for You Wreck Me. That's a faster song. It's a pretty simple song. So you mentioned, John Cougar Mellencamp doesn't have very many guitar solos. I don't know that he has a lot once you get past the 80s, Southern Accents and all that. I don't know that he has a lot of major guitar solos.
Who's wrecking him? Same person who's jamming him?
That's right. And like I said, you got all these relationships that are bad. So we just did You Wreck Me. Number 6, second one from Southern Accents, which we consider that the best album from him. This would be Don't Come Around Here No More. I have this at number 11. A little bit
That's a double negative, which means you can come around here.
You have it at number 5. You're right. That is a double negative. But again, he's when you're talking you're from the South and you have a drawl, and you're basically using slang for your language.
Right.
So that's why you got double negatives. Yeah. All right. Next, number 4 comes from the Traveling Wilburys number 1. And we forgot to mention this. They have an TW1 and TW3. They don't have a TW2. And Roy Orbison had died in between, so that he wasn't on the second one. And I think.
But they have the end. Is it the end of the end of the line? They have a video. That's the one after he died. They have a video out, and when his singing part comes in, because he sings on that,
Right.
They have his guitar and a rocking chair.
Well, End of the Line's on the first one, I think. I'm pretty sure. You'll have to look it up, but I'm pretty sure End of the Line and Handle with Care both are on Traveling Wilburys.
What was the other? The other one is what's the other song?
I looked at Traveling Wilburys.
No, what's the other song? There's a third song.
Last Night.
Last Night, but I'm pretty sure it's End of the Line.
Okay.
So they must not have had a video for Last Night then. Traveling Wilburys 3 might have been stuff they already had recorded.
Okay.
Posthumously.
So he did sing on that posthumously.
Possibility.
Okay.
But I'm pretty sure End of the Line, the video came out after he had died.
So did I mention the song? Handle with Care.
Nope, couldn't find it. We did not mention number 5. And Tom Petty, I heard his spirit say, "Don't do me like that," which just happens to be Number 5.
Number 4.
No, that's their best song. I say
Yeah.
it's not top one of theirs.
No, that's Traveling Wilbury. We're ranking Tom with
well,
Tom Petty.
I know, but I'm saying.
Yes.
I thought if we mentioned a Traveling Wilbury song, let's say we have like 2 of them on our list, that would be the second one we'd hear.
You like the end of the line first?
No, I like that one first.
Yeah,
So
you like this one first. So you have number 2. And
my point is that if I'm hearing that now, that must be the only Traveling Wilbury song on the list.
yes, it is. so we have a couple solos, a duet, some Traveling Wilburys, and then the rest are his. So.
Right, we do.
All right, so you have that too, but I had it at number 13. Okay, next one up. We've already talked about it. It's on Full Moon Fever. The only song, that's the only song we have from that album. Even though it's the one with the most hits that he put out. Running Down a Dream. It's not Free Fallin'. It was overplayed, and it's slow, even though it's his best hit. Not his best.
Was that your top one? You mean solo?
Solo.
It was best solo. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I guess. Well, for all the Tom Pettys, when you look at the rankings, Tom Petty, Heartbreakers, and solo,
Oh, you're talking about worldwide.
Worldwide,
Not us ranking, but the world.
not us.
Gotcha.
But overall in the world, it got as high as number 7. That's considered his best hit, Free Falling. It should not be considered his best hit. That shows that some people need to get fired from Billboard. So we have Running Down a Dream at 5. I have it at 5. You had it at 7. So it's our number 3 song. All right. One up. The only song from Let Me Up I've Had Enough is Jammin' Me. And this is my favorite song. I have the number 1. You have it way down number 6, which is why it only got to number 2. So yeah, 7 points just to be the second song. That shows the wide variety of our rankings on this for this artist. So that leaves our number 1,
which I said was probably going to be number 1 in the beginning of the video.
The third, that's why we say Southern Accents is their best. It's the third song we rank from Southern Accents. Is Make It Better, Forget About Me.
Yeah, if you guys, nobody's ever heard it because it's never played on the radio.
And that'd be the song.
Seek It Out.
Well, these top 2 songs, those are the 2 songs I want to hear on the radio, right? Jammin' Me and Make It Better. You have this is your favorite song. I have it at my second because I like Jammin' Me just slightly better. And there's your list. And yeah.
You really should just go out and buy Southern Accents.
So I'm pretty sure nobody agrees with our list.
If you like Tom Petty,
because they don't know the songs unless you're a diehard fan. Well, if you're a diehard fan, you probably think all the early songs are his best.
Oh yeah,
because that's how people like to rank their stuff.
He's one of the artists where I think the radio stations pretty much play old, new, in between. They're like,
yeah, you're right.
I don't know any era where they're like, well, we're not playing this stuff. We're only playing this stuff, like we normally hear. Yeah. Like John Cougar. They're all about the earlier stuff, and you never hear the later stuff.
Yep. And before we go, we got one more thing we forgot to mention, movie-wise. You mentioned Johnny Depp was in Into the Great Wide Open.
Okay.
He has one more movie tie in his videos, and that's Kim Basinger in Mary Jane's Last Dance.
Oh yeah, she's an actress.
She's an actress. She's an actress.
Yeah.
She was in the original Batman with Jack Nicholson.
But she played in this.
She played. He's dancing with her, and she's already dead. I guess.
Yeah, and he's like at the nighttime at the beach in the water or something like that.
Again, he beat her so much she died.
Bad relationships.
And I mean, he did die of a drug or overdose, so who knows what kind of guy he was. All right, so there's your list. Don't mean to knock him that bad, but I do like his stuff. Anyways, so next week, who do we have next week? I forget.
Somebody who's not. They don't play during the day. I don't think. That's your hip.
Yeah. Let's just see one of the
something to do with night.
One of the guys in the band, when he left the band, he came up and made a new band, which is not our list because it wasn't in the 80s, it was in the 90s.
All right, but we're not going to have them.
We're not going to have, we don't rank the second group. It could.
It could, but
to me, there's too many good songs from their band, the original band, why include that?
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
We may come.
I could bet. I'm like, I'll save the comments I got for them in
Yes.
the next video.
I was thinking to do this once we get our '80s done, if we ever get done. we'll have this list of bands who just missed being in our list because they came out right at 1990. That'd be one of them.
Or how about the bands that miss our list because they don't have enough songs?
Right.
Like,
There's a bunch of those.
bunch of those, yeah.
One-hit wonders and even three-hit wonders.
Yeah.
So
Like, we like the Hooters. I bought their album. They're not going to be on our list there because they only have 3 good songs. Well, they had 4. They actually had Where Did the Children Go? It was a duet.
yeah.
And that singer sings with Cyndi Lauper in Time After Time. So, but we're still not going to probably rank them. Not enough hits. I think of some of the bands, I'm like, why didn't they have another hit?
I know.
Was it the group that sang Something About You?
Level 42.
Why? Yeah, I love that song. Why is that their only hit?
I'm saying there's the 80s could go on forever because once we get past the 100, there's still a ton of bands out there that put out good songs.
So,
Like,
anyways.
All right. So next week there's our night hint. No day hints, just the night hint.
Yeah, leave a comment, like our video,
Share, and
subscribe.
and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year because that'll happen before we meet next time. See
Yeah.
you later. Bye.
Bye.